Love is Blind producers are finally responding after backlash in regards to their casting of Love is Blind. And I am actually quite shocked at their response. I was on reality TV, I was on 90 Day Fiancé, and I'm very familiar with the casting process and the background checks that cast members of these shows have to go through. As you guys know, this last season of Love is Blind had so much controversy, especially in regards to Tyler. Tyler apparently went on the show and had a whole set of kids and just had a very shady past, and a lot of people were left wondering, why didn't casting producers find this information out before letting him on the show? Well, the creator of Love is Blind has spoken, and he says, we have a very rigid vetting process. We have background checks and psychological evaluations. Everyone has stuff, everyone's lived life, and our job is not to make sure that everyone talks about everything. Our job is to provide them a forum that they use how they wish to see if they can connect with someone and fall in love. The problem I have with that is Love is Blind is not just a forum. It is a launching point for a lot of influencers, and it gives a huge platform to people. And I think the type of people that you give a huge platform to does matter. And so I think that the vetting process should go above and beyond just a simple background check. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
So apparently it's in the Love is Blind contract that if you get proposed to and you...
So yes, I wanted to jump on here and share my story and experience of how I was casted on this current season of Love is Blind. So a casting agent reached out to me from Instagram, and they saw I was from North Carolina, from Raleigh, so a couple hours away from Charlotte, had me fill out an intake form. And get this, Love is Blind, all the questions were about physical traits, what I looked like, what I was attracted to, what I would normally approach, nothing about emotion, connection, what I find like good in a person outside of physical traits, which initially I thought was odd. I get through, and then I do my first virtual interview, and they kind of ask those same questions again, kind of my story, but I did tell them, hey, I was recently divorced. I'm not looking to be married again, especially this soon. And they ultimately said that that was going to be okay, which I was taken aback, but they said, we'll explain that to you at the next interview. And then at the next interview, I told the casting agents the same thing, that, hey, I was recently divorced, don't want to be married this soon. It's been not even a year. And they're like, hey, Scott, we know not everyone gets married on the show. Some people just bring a different dynamic to it. And the viewers like to watch certain things, and they like to see X, Y, and Z happen. And I was like, ultimately, you either want me to lead someone on or become a villain on the show, huh? And they said, that's not exactly what we're saying, but people do gravitate towards, or people like to watch certain things happen on the show. And yes, I thought that was odd, but hey, I could be on Netflix. So I went to one more round, and that's when they were like, hey, you don't live in Charlotte, you live in Raleigh, huh? I said, yes. But to this girl's point, there are some contractual clauses in there. If you make it so far, you are on the hook for certain things. Now, would I do Love is Blind? Probably not.
Hey you guys, I'm back with another YouTube video, and honestly today I am doing a YouTube video. This is going to be my last Love is Blind YouTube video. This is going to be about all the tea that has been coming out after the show has aired. After this video, I will not be talking about Love is Blind anymore. I will be talking about politics with like what happened with the whole election recently. So this is going to be my last Love is Blind video. But after this, I'm going to be talking about what happened with the election. And then also I'm going to be talking about the show Married at First Sight. I haven't watched episode 3, so I'm not caught up yet. But I think my Married at First Sight review may be like a little late. I have no idea. I don't know when like my Married at First Sight review is going to be coming out fully yet, but I will be in tune to show you guys that as like my thoughts on just the whole episode, because just on episode 3 of like what happened, because that like this, like I don't know, Married at First Sight Chicago was already looking a little bit dramatic for me, like with like the guy who lives in his parents' basement, and like that being a red flag for like this little girl, whatever like that, like this woman or whatever like that. It's really it's a lot to like debrief to just really like have a big thought on and just kind of like debrief on like what's been happening in Married at First Sight. So I'm going to be talking about Married at First Sight after I do my recap, when I'm talking about politics and stuff like that. But for now, I'm doing my recap on this Love is Blind season and all the tea that has been coming out about this Love is Blind season. And I'm honestly going to put this Love is Blind season to a wrap. I was going to do multiple videos, but I was just like, nah, let me just do let me just do a big video real quick for you guys. I don't know how long it's going to be. And then I will catch you guys up on other stuff that I want to talk about as well on this channel. So make sure you guys tune in, get your popcorn, get your snacks, and I will start from here. All right, so the first thing I really want to talk about is just the whole situation with like the Marshall and like his fiance situation. Basically, there was tea before this Love is Blind season 7 came out that like Marshall and his fiance had broken up because Marshall decided to abruptly just go to LA. And I think like the fiance was upset because like he didn't tell her, and basically like Marshall told his fiance last month that he wanted just to move out to LA. And so I think, or like something about like him just getting up and like deciding to move to LA just abruptly, something like that. Like, I don't know, to me just really makes me see like, to me this really makes me side-eye Marshall and the fiance, because I'm just like, okay, if the reason why I'm side-eyeing the Marshall, the reason why I'm side-eyeing the fiance, because I'm just like, if Marshall really wanted to leave and move to LA, why wasn't the fiance really there with him, be like, you know what, I'm gonna move to LA with you too? Because I'm just like, wouldn't you do anything for your partner? Like, wouldn't you do anything for your husband? Wouldn't you do anything for your wife? So it's just like, for the fiance just to not move with Marshall right away, to me it's also kind of just a little bit very disturbing. I'm just like, why did he decide to break up with him because he wanted to move to LA? Like, wouldn't you want to move to LA with him? Like, I thought LA was a nice place. Like, I don't know, maybe he had a nice spot for you. And did Marshall really offer to like move to like offer her to come with him to move to LA? I really need more facts. I really think that like there's more to the story with this whole situation with this whole fiance. Let me kind of like search it up. Because I'm just like, this is kind of like a little bit confusing. Like, I don't know what this, I really do not know what, like, I don't know, like, hold on. I'm gonna go on Instagram threads and really see what happens, because I'm just like, what does this even mean? Like, I'm just like, with the whole Marshall situation, Ashley Vera. Guys, by the way, follow Ashley Vera. She's really good on like the tea. She's really good on the tea. Also, make sure you cash app Bree's baby mama, because what is the tea? Wait, hold up. Cause I'm just like, I'm so confused. Okay, so basically, the fiance says, I've been trying to keep it cute and very private. I ended my engagement the day he moved to LA. I wish he would have instead explained why he moved to LA in the middle of an engagement. I think that so basically it seems like that the ex-fiance is making it seem like that Marshall decided just to up and leave and move to LA without basically like telling her. So it just seems like that Marshall is a villain in this, and I could honestly see why Jackie broke up with Marshall. So I'm just like, is Marshall's true colors really starting to come up? Because Marshall got a really good edit this season. Like, Marshall got an extremely good edit this season. So I'm just like, is Marshall's true colors really starting to come out this season when it comes to like him and his fiance? I'm just like, really just to like decide to up and move to LA. Like, so basically, like, did Marshall not really explain to the fiance of why he wanted to move to LA? And then I'm just like, but also, couldn't the fiance just move to LA with him and like, you know, be like, you know what, okay, but you should have told me this like earlier, but like, why? Like, couldn't, like, it's not like you're gonna be moving a bunch of times. Like, it's not like you're gonna be it's not like he's gonna be couch surfing. So it's just like, why couldn't you just take the responsibility? Be like, you know what, I'm gonna like support this. I'm gonna move with you. Like, was Marshall moving to LA to be like an influencer? Like, I just don't understand. Was he moving to be an influencer? Was he moving to like, you know, get his bag? Like, I really don't understand like where this is going, but I'm just like, this is a little bit shocking to me, because I'm just like, for this to be, oh, like Marshall just decided to up and leave to LA. I feel like that this was kind of both. I think it's both of these people's fault. Like, I think it's the fiance's fault and Marshall's fault. I'm just like, Marshall, I think you should have gave like a better explanation of like why he wants to move to LA. Is it to be an influencer? Do you want to like be a celebrity? Like, I don't understand that. You're already a celebrity, but now after like reading this news, I could just see why Marshall broke up with why Jackie broke up with Marshall in season 4 of Love is Blind. And I think I could just see why like I was always team Jackie from the beginning. Like, it could just always confuse me of how people were just team Marshall all the time, because Marshall kind of got like a good edit like Nick from this current season. Next up, speaking of Nick was on a podcast, and he basically was speaking on the podcast, and it wasn't really that interesting. But one thing that stood out to me when I was listening to his podcast was that he says that like Katie and Hannah are no longer friends, and a lot of people have been talking about this on TikTok. So I don't know. Is everybody just deciding to up and leave? Like, I don't know, Hannah? Like, is everyone deciding to up and leave Hannah? Because for me, it's just a matter of like Hannah, yes, Hannah was very rude. Hannah was extremely rude. But for me, this is just like, this is kind of weird. Like, this is really weird. Like, just the fact that like first Marissa called Hannah her best friend, and then also Katie called Hannah her best friend. So did Hannah's true colors really start to come out when people were watching the show? And this has been a season where people were watching the show and they have seen that like Hannah is one of the most biggest villains. Like, Hannah is like the biggest villains of like all time. Like, this has been a season where like people like were like have so many friendships. I think season 5 was like this as well, where like so many friendships were being cut off, and like this is why season 5 was kind of good for me, because I'm just like, that was top tier. But like this season has been like a show of like also kind of like toxic friendships. So for me to hear that like Marissa and Hannah stopped being friends, and then now Katie and Hannah are stopping to be friends, to me is a little bit weird. I'm just like, wow, this shows how like toxic of a person that Katie was. And the fact that like she still even came on this reunion and she didn't even give Nick an apology, it just shows how like hurt Nick was. And I've seen real people like Hannah before in real life, so I'm just kind of wondering, it's like, does Hannah just have a mean spirit when she's nice to only certain people, and people who are just like kind of just like nothing to her, like she just tears them down? Because it just seems like that Hannah was just tearing a lot of people down, it seems like, behind the scenes. And I wouldn't be surprised if Hannah lost a lot more friends on this show, because even when all these cast members went to the Ravens game over the weekend, like you guys saw like where the cast members went to the Ravens game, and like, you know, they were at the game and all this stuff, and I think Katie invited them. And then I don't know, but I believe like Hannah wasn't there. And I was watching a video with like I think I was watching a video where like Brie made a TikTok. Where Alex made a TikTok, and congrats on Alex, because she got a brand deal. Alex got a brand deal like for like a wing spot, but I'm so happy for her. So I think Alex made like a TikTok video about like just like hate comments and stuff like that, which I don't know. But like, yeah, Alex made a TikTok video, and then the comments were like, oh, perfect, Hannah's not there at the football game. And I was honestly liking those comments, because I'm just like, yes, like, if Hannah, could you imagine, like, I think Hannah she has just a bad attitude. She has bad energy, and she don't need to be with friends. She don't need nobody to be around her. Like, I just could not imagine just being around Hannah. And I honestly have a coworker. I literally have a coworker I literally have a coworker who acts like Hannah, and I'm just like, for what? So I'm honestly not surprised that like Hannah and Katie are not friends, but I think that like Katie, it just shows how kind of toxic you are too, Katie, how like gullible Katie is too. I'm just like, Katie, the fact that you decided to stay friends with this girl, the fact that you were calling Hannah your best friend in the whole wide world on episode 10 of this season, I'm just like, there was just no way. And then for Katie to cry at the reunion, be like, oh my god, when Hannah said that comment, I just felt a little bit distraught. And I also heard on the podcast that like Hannah plans on like going out to eat with Katie and like apologizing and trying like to clear the air. Please, Katie, do not become friends with this girl and Hannah anymore, please. And so I think that like also at the reunion, Katie was scared of Hannah, because when Vanessa and Nick were asking Katie about like, you know, that whole situation with like Hannah saying that comment and being like, and basically saying like how like she doesn't like Katie, I feel like that Katie was just really scared on stage, and that's why she started to cry on stage. And that's why like on stage Katie just looked weak. Like it didn't feel like she had any backbone. And I think Marissa is even a stronger person than Katie, because at least Marissa had like some heat to say. Katie came with no heat. Like Katie was just crying like, oh my god, it was just so terrible. And then Hannah was like, Katie, I could just trust my friend. So I think Hannah's just a little bit controlling. I think Hannah is just a mothering person. As a young 26-year-old, you should not have the most attitude on stage. As a youngest on this cast, you should not have the most attitude on the stage. Because for me, I'm just like, there is just no way. Like, there's just no way that you're crying like this, you're acting like this. Like, the energy was very mean and toxic. Like, do you guys not see how upsetting she was? Like, how disrespectful she was towards Nick? I feel so bad for him, because even when I was watching Nick's podcast, like, Nick seemed like a wholesome guy. Nick seemed like a guy who actually, and like, Nick also was saying that like Hannah was painting him out to be like this guy who had like no money, who just lived with his parents, who was just a bum, doing nothing, who didn't pay any bills. But then meanwhile, Nick has a lot actually going on for him, probably more than what Hannah has going on for him. Like, Nick wants to be a model, like Nick wants to go really far in life, and I think Hannah, like, she don't got that first. Like, all she wants to do is just clean, like, just have an everyday life. And I'm just like, I don't understand also how like Hannah had more followers than Nick at this show, but I don't know if eventually that like Nick will get more followers. But it just goes to show how like very spoiled that like Hannah really is. And I don't think it really seems as though like Nick doesn't have it all together. Like, Nick is actually a really great guy. And for people to even like, and I even heard on this podcast that people were apologizing to Nick, and so like, oh, like, Nick, I'm really sorry. Like, Nick, I'm really sorry. Like, Nick is not that deep. Y'all are so fake. For you guys to go on stage and tear Nick down, to then after the reunion and then be all nice and be like, you know what, Nick, I'm so sorry. Like, for even Monica to come at Nick and then for her to like make a picture with Nick and stuff like that and be like, you know what, actually, plot twist, me and Nick are friends. I'm actually kind of side-eyeing you. But like, Hannah and Katie not being friends, it makes sense. I'm just like, how was Katie of all nice people friends with Hannah? How like Katie and Hannah's energy are just very off. Like, Katie is just a person who's calm, cool, collected, and Hannah's a person who is very, very angry, who's very, very mean-spirited, who's very, very controlling, abusive verbally to men. I'm just like can all the exes of Hannah really come out and explain how she really was like to you? I'm just like, I'm surprised that she's still single at the age of 26. She is still single at the age of 26. And even like when I was watching the show with my parents, they were like, you know what, Hannah, like, come back next season. I'm just like, I'm laughing. I'm just like, it is true. Like, you just didn't, like, I think that Hannah did not belong in this cast, because everybody else in this cast was just super calm, cool, collected, and then Hannah over here, mean-spirited. Like, okay, like, you had a glow up. I'm just like, that does not give you the right to still be mean. Like, at least be humble. Like, I'm just like, I don't like people who go on Love is Blind not humble, because it's just like, if anything, like, Hannah was on the show for like clout, because Hannah was literally starting fights with Nick every single day. Hannah was starting fights with Nick every single chance she got, and then for you to look in Nick's journal and be like, yeah, like, actually, you wrote that you want to be the most famous person on Love is Blind. Excuse me, I think it's kind of you, because you started the most fights on this show, even besides, like, I think Hannah is the biggest villain against Tyler. Like, I think Hannah is more of a villain than Tyler. I think Hannah is really more of a villain than Tyler. I'm just like, Hannah, the reason why you're losing friends is simply because of the fact that, like, just the way how, like, you act, like, you have to just tone it down a bit. Like, you could speak a little bit nicer. And I actually, like, know a Hannah in real life who is literally so mean to me. I'm just like, yo, like, I actually want to DM Nick and be like, Nick, how do you deal with this? Like, how did you deal with this on a reality show? For somebody to belittle you in front of on national television gives me secondhand embarrassment. It gives me secondhand embarrassment. I'm just like, wow. I could relate to Nick, and I'm just like, you know what? As a person who like also gets treated like kind of like in real life, I'm just like, I could see why Nick was like just really scared to like defend himself. Why Nick wasn't arguing back and forth with Hannah. And I kind of get that from Nick. I give Nick so much credit because I know at first I was going hard on Nick because he lived with his parents. But I'm just like, now I'm just like, no, Nick, I stand for you. Like, I really stand for him. Just like, I just don't see how Hannah could be that of a mean-spirited person like that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I really just can't stand it at all. I can't stand it at all. I really don't like it. Just the fact for like Hannah and Nick to not really become friends is honestly, it's wild to me. It's very wild. It's very wild. And I think no, not Hannah. Sorry, Hannah and Katie to not be friends is very wild. Like Katie of all nice people, and then Katie, why were you going for Nick when you knew that like Hannah would kind of just like make you look bad as well? So I think Hannah also made like Katie look a little bit bad as well by like saying like, you know what, no, like why were you talking to Katie like this? But like, yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't know. I think Hannah made Katie look bad as well, and that's why Katie is not friends with Hannah. Anyways, on to the next. Now with the whole Ashley and Tyler situation. So I don't know, it was either last night story time with Ricky and Jesse Wu interviewed Bree finally, and Bree, after they interviewed Deshaun, and basically all this tea was coming out when it came to like Bree. And you know, Jesse Wu at the end of the live said like, you know, guys, don't donate to Bree, which guys, please do not donate. Like, please Zelle Bree. I think I might put the Zelle on my description as well to like for you guys to Zelle Bree. But when I was watching this when I was watching this live that like Storytime and Jesse was putting up together when they were interviewing Bree, it just goes to show like, thank you Jesse Wu and Storytime with Ricky for putting out all this news when it comes to like what Ashley and Tyler are against when it comes to these 3 children. Like, for me, I just really can't imagine this. I really can't imagine this. Like, just the baby mama, for this, like, Deshaun. It just goes to show that how, like, Tyler and Ashley, they really don't care about the kids. Like, Tyler and Ashley left these kids out in the dark. And honestly, I just have to say that, like, with the whole Tyler and Ashley situation, I think there needs to be like, I mean, okay, it's okay to get still, like, you guys could stay married. Like, we're not telling you to get a divorce because it's your marriage. Like, they're making it seem like that we're trying to like make them get a divorce, but no, like, I just think that it's very just rude for Tyler to just like, you know, disregard these kids after he donated a sperm donor, and then for Ashley to defend this man and basically accept him abandoning his kids. So it's basically just like, okay, Ashley, you are now abandoning those kids too, because after you married Tyler, you were into their life. And then for even Tyler to ignore Bree and make up excuses to like not explain himself, for him to like explain how like he was gonna like go on the show to Bree, and then like for him to slowly like kind of just like put Bree on silent and like not really be up to date with Bree 24/7 on this experiment. It's just really hurtful because it's just like, you just left Bree in the dark like this. You left Bree by herself to deal with all of this. And for you to go on the show then afterwards, not even take care of these kids. And I was supporting Ashley and Tyler so much this season that until watching the Vile Files podcast and watching more of Jesse Wu's videos, I started to notice that, like, you know what? Ashley just supports bad behavior from men. Like, Ashley supports bad men for real. And I'm just like, if you support bad men like Tyler, then why did you support maybe your other exes who could have been like, who were probably like a little bit like better than Tyler maybe? I don't know. To me, it just goes to show that like how just, I don't know, backwards Ashley is. I'm just like, okay, if you accept bad men like Tyler, what you have to accept this like 5 years later, and I get that she's, she's old, she's like 33, or she's 30, she was 32 at the time, and she was, a lot of people who are like in their 30s, they're really desperate for marriage, but like, there's time that's wasting out. Like there's, I get that, like, there's time being like, there's time being wasted when you're 33 or like you're 32 and you still don't have a partner. I get it, but for you to be that desperate just to accept a man who abandons his children, to me that is just super upsetting, because it's just like, wow, so you really don't have time for these kids. And then as she was saying, like, he wanted to have his own family. And I'm just like, and this is my other video, I'm just like, so because you want to have your own family, you can at least do the bare minimum for these kids. And that's what this was saying, like, at least do the bare minimum for these kids. Like, do the bare minimum at least. And for me, it's just like, wow, like, it just shows how, like, hard-headed Tyler really is to that extent. Because I know I'm hard-headed too, but I'm like, not like that, where I'm going to abandon some kids. Not where I'm going to abandon some kids. To me, it's just sad. And as a person with 5 siblings, I'm just like, wow, that's like, I don't know, like a family having a new child, and like you're trying to be like, you're either their cousin, their sister, and like you just don't want to help out. Like, I don't know, I just feel really bad for Brie. The fact that, like, she had to basically just be like disregarded on this show like this, and for her 3 children to be disregarded, and then also for her to have to now support these kids financially by herself. I mean, she has a grandmother's help. She has, I think, Deshaun's help, I believe. I don't know for sure. So for me, it's just like, wow. And then for Tyler to go text the friend like this, and like even for the 3 kids to like, see this man as their father. And then when Nick on the Vile Files podcast and Natalie were asking about that, like, what are these kids gonna say when they get older? As she was like saying, like, you know what? Oh wow, Tyler just have to give a call to them kids and be like, you know what, at some point in your life, I donated a sperm donor to a friend, and so then at one point I decided not to be a part of you guys' life after taking care of you guys for like so many years, and I decided like to, not to be part of your life. So basically, as she says, like, you know what, Tyler's gonna have to make a big call. Tyler's gonna have to make a big call to those 3 kids in the future. So I'm just like, wow, so you just like drop your kids like flies. It's literally like, you know what, forget them kids. Like, forget those kids. We want to see them kids. Like, we don't want to see these kids. It's a lot. Like, it's really a lot. Like, and I'm just like, I'm kind of really just like shocked by like, wow, like these 3 kids had to get abandoned. And I'm just like, did Tyler do all this for a plan of a show, for the plan of Love is Blind? Because when people were saying that, like, when people were saying, like, that the Love is Blind cast for Washington D.C. was casting, no, not the Love is Blind cast, but when people were I remember like, I don't know if it was like 2 years ago, it was like either it was 2 years ago or a year ago, where I saw that like there was like a casting website for like Love is Blind DC, and it was like, okay guys, go apply to be on Love is Blind DC. Love is Blind DC, the DMV, apply to be on Love is Blind DC. And so when I saw like this cast come out, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a messy season. And I was right because of the whole Ashley and Tyler situation. But when I saw like the casting for Love is Blind DC, I remember literally like lots of people being like, I have to be on this show. I have to go on this show. People were like, I'm gonna apply. Oh, they casting in DC? Oh my God, I gotta apply. Like, it was so many comments up in that casting, be like, hey, can I apply? Me. Like, and it's just like, there's a lot of desperate people that would just want to go on this show for the fame. And I'm just like, was Tyler one of those people who, and Ashley too, who are one of those people who just wanted to be a famous couple, like, like Lauren and Cameron? I think that a lot of people on this cast of Love is Blind wanted to become famous this season, and it did not work out in their favor, sadly. And I'm just like, it's kind of sad because this season wasn't really popular, and like it wasn't really like likable, and like to an extent, I don't know how I like this season already, because I have to kind of just like wait till like a few months later to see if I really like this season. But like, it's kind of just like really crazy for me to just basically see how like a lot of people were just like windmilling to be on this cast when it came to like DC, and then eventually like not even become famous for it. And I think that like with Ashley and Tyler, like they are really holding on to this marriage. I get it. She's sitting beside her man, like nobody can tell her nothing. But I'm just like, there is, and like Jesse Wu said, there is 3 kids in the middle of this. 3 kids in the middle of this. So it's just like having 3 kids in the middle of this is kind of just like, okay, now it's like we are literally as a married couple are just forgetting these 3 children. Like as a married couple, me and you are not giving 2 damns about these kids. We are just gonna forget these kids and move on with our lives and be happy because we don't want kids right now. At least like, you know, do the bare minimum. At least send Bree money. At least visit them every now and then for Christmas, you know. And like even at the reunion when like Ashley and Tyler were like showing the pictures like how like their year was like in a year, we were just all like, we're the kids. And so now I get why people were literally still upset at Ashley and Tyler during the reunion. And I don't know how I was so stupid to believe that like Ashley and Tyler were a true couple. In my head, I'm just like, now I see why people are kind of upset at Ashley, because it's just like, girl, like we are telling you that like this man is abandoning his kids. And now you just want to be a part of it just to be married. So you really are just being a part of us and you're expecting us to be happy for you. So you want us to be part of you for abandoning 3 kids. Like to me, that's just very foul. And I just want to see what happens on the court date on November 15th, because Tyler, I think, owes all this child support. So I'm like, so you think we want to support a couple who literally who's in a financial crisis, and like who probably can't even, and like also like Ashley, you can't even probably be a homeowner. Do you think we gotta be proud of that? We can't be proud of that. We cannot be proud of that. Like Tyler is gonna mess you up financially, Ashley. Even like with taxes, like you can't even get a home. And even like Jesse was saying, when you do a Reese's Teaster series on this, like, or when you are upset about this, and when you get that divorce, which I'm not hoping on, but if you were to get a divorce, nobody's gonna be crying for you. Nobody's gonna be happy with you. I'm sad with you, because it's just like, we told you so. It's like that one friend where you keep on telling them like, you know what, this guy is not for you, and then they keep on going back to that man, and it's just like, nah, like we told you so. Like we told you so. Like, and it's just like, I think that it's just very impulsive for Ashley just to like, you know, jump right into like being with Tyler. And I mean, like, yeah, like, they had conversations about the kids. So like, you guys really just came into a conversation of like, you know what, we are not going to give a fuck about these kids. So I think Ashley and Tyler came to the conclusion that like, you know what, they are not going to care about these kids. And for Ashley to still be defending Tyler, it just shows how delusional she is. She's like, I think that like Tyler got to a situation where he's too deep in. No, baby, like, you know, Bree is really hurt. Bree is actually really hurt. The reason why Bree is upset, because you are leaving her with these 3 kids, and like you offered to be a sperm donor and actually help, and you were there to help, and now for you to just not even help anymore, it's just like, so like you just kind of blind. Like I think Bree feels really blindsided. I don't really know, but Bree is really blindsided. What else I'm gonna talk about? So I talked about Ashley and Tyler. I went over Marshall and his fiance. I went over Hannah and Katie not being friends, and a little bit of like Nick's podcast. What else do I have to go over? Oh, the last thing I want to go over is had you guys seen the article where like Colleen Christine made an article, and like the saying was like, oh, like we are not the police, like we are really not the police. I honestly don't get that. Like, so I'm gonna put this article on my channel, hopefully. So basically, Christine made an article saying like, you know, we are not the police, and I just kind of want to like see like basically. So basically, this article was basically saying that like you know, we actually do background checks, and we are not the police. My thing is, you guys cannot say you are the police. In my defense, it's like, when it comes to a show like Love is Blind, I think you guys have to get police involved. Like, I think you guys have to get police involved, because, you know, I mean, okay, yeah, you can only do but so much when it comes to casting these people. But I mean, come on now. Like what Jesse Wu and Storytime with Ricky said, and even that lawyer, I think her name was like Red Wine Simone, whatever like that. I don't know. But even that lawyer that like Jesse was on TikTok Live with, it's just like, yeah, like you guys could do so much when it comes to background checks. And I just think that it's such like really dumb for Love is Blind to like sit here and be like, you know what, we are not the police, we actually do our background checks. No. Like, think about it this way. When you're applying for a job, or like, you know, when you're going up for a job, and, you know, you make it through the interview process, like, literally going on Love is Blind is like applying for a job. And I know people will be like, you know what? No, like, when you apply to a reality show, it's not like you're applying for a job. Don't treat this like a job interview. No, I'm gonna treat it like a job interview because you're literally getting interviewed. You're literally filling out an application and you're going through the interview process. That is what a job is like as well. When I was getting hired to so many jobs, how come that a lot of jobs are able to do background checks on these people, but then Love is Blind cannot do background checks on these people? How come like all these, like, you know, 9-to-5 jobs, all these retail jobs can do all these background checks, but then afterwards it's like how come then it's like Love is Blind can't do the same as these jobs that do background checks? And it's just okay. Like, I remember, like, my mom even told me that, like, when these jobs are doing background checks, if they find even one thing bad about you, like as a criminal record or something like that, you can't get hired. So it's hard to find a job. And then you even have like a lot of men who have been in so much crime, right? You have men who have been in so much crime to the point where it's just like they literally are like working as like garbage people because they can't get a real job because of their criminal history. How come on Love is Blind you had Carter from Love is Blind season 5 who was homeless, and people can do a background check on him to even see if he had a place to stay, or to see if like he was mentally unstable, you know? Like, to me, that just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for me to just like sit here and see that like you guys could do background checks for 9-to-5 jobs in America, but you guys can't do background checks for a show like Love is Blind, or you can't do background checks for all of these reality TV shows, or like a show like Married at First Sight. And I'm just like, no, you guys could actually, like, you know, do a lot of you could bring up the court documents. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, like, okay, Tyler, like, you guys like can't really like, yeah, Tyler lied about like him having 3 kids on his application, but I'm just like, y'all couldn't do a background check and find that he had 3 kids. And like, I'm just like, when people answer these questions on your Love is Blind application, you guys cannot like just see if like they have 3 children. And I think Tyler was found on LinkedIn when it came to Love is Blind. So I'm just like, Tyler, like, why, like, if you were found on LinkedIn, why when you were on that interview with Pairway, and Pairway actually, like, did you put on your application that you were, oh no, I think they did have to fill it. I think she did have to fill out. Never mind. She probably did still have to fill it out. But like, for me, it's just like you guys could actually do so much when it comes to these background checks. When it comes to Love is Blind, like, and like for you guys to go sit here and be like, we are not the police. I'm just like, so then how come Jesse Wu, Storytime with Ricky, that lawyer that was with Storytime with Ricky on the live, were able to do all these then background checks, which is to like find all these receipts for Tyler and Ashley, but then y'all couldn't like, but then y'all can't do the same. How come Jesse Wu and Storytime with Ricky is doing better than y'all when it comes to finding out who these people really are in real life? Like, I just don't get it. And it just seems like all these workers are just very lackluster. And for these people on Love is Blind to go sit here and be like, hey, don't go on Jesse Wu's podcast, don't go on Storytime with Ricky's or don't go on this person's podcast, or don't go on like for Love is Blind to then basically guide these Love is Blind cast members to not go on these black people's podcasts. It's diabolical. It's like you guys are actually hiding something, but you guys are trying to hide the fact that like you guys are literally trying to bring in people who are actually like mentally, like people who actually have so many who have so many bad records on their background, and you guys want to use them for views. You guys want to use them because it's going to make TV. And I think with season 7, it didn't work. It didn't work like that. Like with season 7 of Love is Blind, you guys failed when it came to actually like making drama for this show, because you guys were probably like even that Asian guy who was from Raleigh, North Carolina, and he was getting interviewed, and then the guy was I think when people were casting him, they were trying to force him to be a villain on the show because he was saying like he didn't want to get married. And then they're like, you know, why can't you just be a villain? Why can't you just be a villain? And this guy was like, and the guy was saying on his TikTok video like, hey, So you guys just really want me to you guys do just want me to lead somebody on and then just say no to them at the altar. It's kind of just like, I think Love is Blind really wanted a lot of villains this season, and it just failed. It didn't work in their favor. It did not work in their favor. Like, it really did not work in their favor. So it's kind of just like, wow, like the only good people were really Garrett and Tyler on this show. For me, it's kind of just like, so you guys always want one married couple, I guess, or one healthy couple on this like show. Because even the past season, like, there's only been one married couple, season 5, season 6. And I mean, okay, season 4, like, y'all were actually, like, y'all had, like, at least 3 marriages. But I'm just like, so you guys really just, like, you guys want to just try to impress us. And it's just, like, it gets repetitive. It gets repetitive. And I'm just like, wow, like, for you guys to sit here and be like, you know what, we are not the police. And write that in the article. No, you guys have to act like polices. Maybe you guys should actually involve polices in this process when it comes to Love is Blind. So that maybe the police could actually come to them and actually, like, you know, arrest them for, like, certain stuff like they do maybe. I don't know. Like, for me, it's just like, y'all couldn't find Tyler's eviction letters. Y'all couldn't find Tyler's child support. Y'all couldn't find Bowden's alleged, like, you know, sexual assault with a woman. Y'all couldn't find how Ramses was in a divorce. Like, there was so much stuff that you guys could have found with these when it came to these people. Y'all couldn't find that, like, Hannah was too young for the show or too young for this cast. Like, I just don't get it. Then, like, even also, like, why put a 26-year-old on this season of Love is Blind? Like, I didn't get that either. And then even, like, with last season, y'all couldn't find, like, Trevor already had a girlfriend. Like, come on now. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So, with that whole situation, I'm just kind of just like, y'all gotta be for real. Y'all gotta be for real. You guys want the villains on this show. You guys really want the villains you guys really wanted the villains this show. And it's just like, it just sucks. It really just sucks. Because I'm just like, it didn't really work in your favor this season. Like, let's be honest. Let's really be honest. Like, let's really be honest. Like, how were you guys not able to find Jeremy literally applying for the show right after he got divorced? You guys are literally just reaching out to people over Instagram. Like, why over Instagram? Why only over Instagram? Y'all are, like, reaching out to people. You guys could do a lot more. Just only accept applications, maybe. And yes, I love the drama, but don't do too much to make drama. Because now, see, I don't know how many months later I'm going to look back on the season and say how good it was, because I'm just watching the season. But, like, for me, it's just, like, I don't know. For you guys to claim, like, you guys do background checks, you guys really don't. Because how do we have all these people who are coming up with, like, these like, records behind them for being, like, you guys literally had a homeless man on this show who couldn't literally pay his own phone bill and had to use Milton to pay his own phone, like, to pay his phone bill. And then for, like, even Renee Poche to even get abused by this guy as well. Like, that doesn't even make any sense to me as well. I just don't get it. But that's all I have to say for this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn in that also share, turn that notification bell on to see more videos from me. This is gonna be my last Love is Blind video, like my last Love is Blind review when it comes to, like, this whole Love is Blind franchise. I'm honestly done talking about Love is Blind. I'm gonna be talking about politics and also, like, Married at First Sight if I actually want to. I don't know if I really will. I'm gonna be talking about Married at First Sight. And then I don't know if there's any more Love is Blind tea that's coming out as well. But yeah, I have a lot more to talk about on this channel. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my last Love is Blind review. I don't know what to say about this season just yet, but I don't know if I should do a ranking about this season. I have no idea. But anyways, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.